Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes. Alongside me today is Jedi Bill. And today we are going to be talking about the Guy Ritchie film, uh, The Covenant. It's an Afghan war film starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Dar Salim, Emily Beecham, Johnny Lee Miller, Alexander Ludwig, and Anthony Starr. Bill and I watched this film over the weekend, and we both had some thoughts on it. Thought that this movie kind of fell between the cracks. One of the reasons being was it was released about the same time as Super Mario Brothers. And while that's a film that families could go to, The Covenant, obviously being an R-rated war film, like we said, kind of got lost in the shuffle. And
Yeah, I'd say it's highly underrated.
oh, indeed. And I know Pop Culture Minefield did a show recently about this film, and I recommend when you're done with this video to go over and check their show out. Now, like I said, Bill and I saw this movie over the weekend together, and we definitely had some thoughts on it. So this is a story of this friendship that develops between an American master sergeant and the Afghan interpreter that has been assigned to his squad. At one point, the squad is ambushed. They are killed. The master sergeant is gravely wounded, and the interpreter's kind of the last man standing at this point. Winds up dragging him back to the base. And
Who is played by the actor Dar Salim,
Salim.
which he did a wonderful job. They both did exceptional.
Outstanding.
Jobs.
Everybody is very good in this movie. Yeah. And that's kind of the first half of the film. And then the second half becomes Jake Gyllenhaal's character's quest to kind of go back and now save this interpreter who is now trapped in Taliban-run Afghanistan, and becomes obsessed with finding him and getting his family to safety. Because what happened during the pullout, all of these people to whom promises were made, side with us, you will be under our protection, we will bring you back to America after the war. This didn't happen. These people were left behind. And a number of them were killed by the Taliban after the end of the war. And this is about, the quest to kind of get this man out, and it is a very interesting, heartfelt, well-paced, doesn't preach at you. Not really a lot of politics either. Like I said, the only thing that it that this movie really calls attention to or lambasts is the fact that, you know, you had promises made to these people that were broken. And this is a story of a man who tries to hold on to that promise. So, Bill, you're the one who really championed kind of getting this movie, you know, kind of word of mouth wise. You're the one who I know you've mentioned it during just about every live stream we've had until you know, we finally had a chance to
Yeah.
sit down and see
Well,
it.
it's like I said, I didn't know much about the film, and then I had to look at it, so I watched it a few times, and then we saw it, watched it together. I was just blown away on how good it is and how underperformed it did because the way the circumstances when it came out, and it is a very highly underrated film. I was looking at a while ago. The critic scores and audience scores are up to par. You know, it's just a shame that this kind of, like you said, fell between the cracks. It is an exceptional film based on true events, and and it is truly a rare gem of this year. You know, we haven't got a whole lot of great films this year. They're few and too far between.
You really haven't. And finding a movie that's really that's really interesting enough to take the time to go and see. And thank you, and hello, Mikey. Didn't Ritchie also do Lock, Stock, and Two Cigarettes with Sting as a gangster bar owner? I'm not familiar. I know there's a Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels that I have seen. But if there's a sequel to it, then no, that one got by me. But yeah, it's just been few and far between when it comes to movies. I am doing a best of 2023 so far episode of Unscripted this weekend, and it's really occurred to me: do I have enough movies to really talk about for that hour? You know. Mikey says Two Smoking Barrels. Yeah. And not cigarettes. Yeah. I guess it's been a while since I've seen it. I don't recall Sting being in the movie. But now that's neither here nor there. That's a movie that's due for a rewatch for me anyway. But back to the topic at hand. Yeah. And speaking of Guy Ritchie, since he did direct this film, I got to tell you, man, this is... He doesn't have any of his usual fallbacks, if you know what I mean. You know, he doesn't rely on, you know, a bunch of quirky characters, even though there are some in this movie, to be honest. He doesn't rely on it. He doesn't rely on his usual style of film. It's just about telling the story, you know, and letting that stand out, and letting the characters sort of speak for themselves. And it's an interesting departure for him, and I hope... I don't want to say level up, because that that's kind of overstating it. And also I don't want to imply that, you know, all of the movies that he's done previous to this have sucked, because they haven't. I mean, there are a couple of duds in there, and Mikey kind of brings that up, that he was tied to Madonna at one point. Yeah, they were married briefly about 20 years ago, and thank God that relationship ended, because he went back to making good movies after that. You know, um, I allow everyone one bad movie, and Swept Away is Guy Ritchie's bad movie. You know? So, anyway, like we said here with the Covenant, like he doesn't fall back on, you know, having sort of these quirky characters, or you know, the camera trickery. You know, it's very much just this tell it like it is story. You know, you know, it's about brotherhood and under fire, and about this guy trying to keep a promise that the government chose not to keep.
Well, this movie does define the word covenant. Now, when I hear the word covenant, I think of witches witches and sisters are gathered, but the film does explain covenant is a bond, a promise. You know, it does gloss over that.
And hello, LDG.
Hello, LDG. This has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. The budget had it's just well underperformed. Distributed by Metro Golden Mare, so it'll probably be coming available to watch on Prime soon. It had a budget of $55 million, and yeah, sadly to say, because like its shortcomings open against the strong powerhouse that was Super Mario Brothers, only looks like 21.2 mil. But and it's saying 93% like this with our Google users. Oh. Extremely underrated film for sure, and I give it a 5 out of 5. For me, I enjoyed the film so much. I've watched it in the last couple of weeks. I've watched it about 3 or 4 times, and I've never get tired of watching it. It's just that good. But that's just my personal opinion. You should all have a look when you have the chance, and have your own opinion about it.
And if anyone has seen the movie, either anybody in the chat or anybody who watches this review on a repeat, can let me know. Let me, and also Bill, know in the comments. If you have seen the movie, what did you think of it? And kind of what were your favorite scenes and whatnot? But yeah, this is a movie that I think sort of needed word of mouth, and didn't get enough of it while it was in theaters. But now that it is available on Blu-ray, and now that it is soon to be available on streaming, if it's not already, this is definitely one that's very much worth owning a copy of, or watching as many times as you can, and get the word out about it, because this is a subject matter that, this is not only a movie that got slept on, this is subject matter that got slept on.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
really swept under
it got
everybody's radar, pretty much.
swept under the rug. Promises were made to these people that were broken. And these were people who were trying to defend their home, their families, and deserved much better than they got. And this is a movie that tells that story. Like I said, this is not a movie that preaches at you. This is not a political film by any means. It is very pro soldier,
Yeah.
but it's also pro Afghani, really. Afghani civilian, Afghani military. If this movie's against anybody, it is against the Taliban.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you want to talk about the technical side of it, it's very well shot. It's very fast paced. The movie is 2 hours, and it's 2 hours that fly by.
Yeah, really, they do. I
This
think
is
that's what I like most about that. It does have a
Mhm.
much longer runtime, but it hardly goes unnoticeable, the runtime.
This isn't a movie that's 3 hours long for no reason. It really sails by that time. And I'm going to show a little bit of the trailer here. And I'm going to have the sound off. And obviously, I have to kind of talk over it and pause it every now and again so we don't get the stream yeeted.
Right.
But this is, of course, Jake Gyllenhaal here. And kind of the trailer of the trailer. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, as you said. And here we meet Jake Gyllenhaal's character. And when the film begins, I'm not giving anything away here. This is the opening scene of the film. He and his squad are guarding a checkpoint. The interpreter that he has at the beginning of the film, and one of his men are killed with this kind of roadside bomb, and that's how Dar Salim's character winds up with Jake Gyllenhaal's unit, because he's replacing this man who's been killed. And they don't really get along at first. They're not on the same page. And one of the reasons for that is the fact that he was himself Taliban. He was with the opposition, but then when his son is killed, he kind of switches over to the American side and kind of finds out where his kind of true loyalties lie. It's if the here's another thing that I think might have taken a bite out of the Covenant's box office is it's kind of similar to another movie that came out this year, Kandahar, with Gerard Butler. Only in that film, he's a CIA man who is on a mission where kind of the extraction goes wrong, and he winds up having to go cross country again with an interpreter, who in that film has also lost his son. So up to that point, there are some similarities, but then they do very much go off into different directions. Sorry. Now, this is actually when they first meet, this scene right here. And like I said, a little bit of animosity at first, but when the interpreter actually saves the squad from an ambush, a little bit later, right there. Again, let me kind of go back and illustrate this a little bit more.
I really like how their relationship bonded, because back home, this sergeant owns a garage that fixes cars, and the way they met is like, he's like, "Do you know what this is?" He goes, "Yeah," because he's a mechanic, right? I'm not, the interpreter is a mechanic, and so he was just like messing with him, and then they're like joking, and that's where the bond really starts to, blossom, so to speak.
And when he's figured out that they're walking into this ambush, right? And he says, "You're out of line. You're here to translate." He said, "No, I'm here to interpret." Yeah, that's a good line, because it's not just about, a language barrier, but it's kind of paying attention to it's the situational awareness. I know you're walking into this trap because I have seen this before, and I see the signs. It's an interesting relationship that develops, and it's really the heart of the film. It's just this common ground between these two.
Basically take a journey from, and they're far from the American base, and so he's on this journey to get this wounded guy back to the U.S. ground, or U.S. side,
because they are so far out at this point that when something does go wrong, there is no backup.
Yeah, and the fact that
they're on their own.
Yeah, they're being hunted in a very hostile environment, extremely hostile. Wouldn't wish it on anybody.
A situation where the terrain is just as likely to kill them than the Taliban can. And it's quite an odyssey. The I guess, kind of private contractors, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Who are willing to...
yeah, I think they were described as a security company. So But there's a little bit more than meets the eye there.
To them, yeah, and they're led by a fella named Parker, who's played by Anthony Starr, who of course is Homelander on The Boys. I didn't recognize him at first. I had to kind of, I know that guy. And I couldn't figure out from where from the line, because I knew he had to be somebody, because this is one of those movies where everybody is somebody, because you have, in the supporting cast, you have Johnny Lee Miller, who was who had that Sherlock Holmes series. He's been in a number of films. You have Bjorn from Vikings is in this movie. Emily Beecham from Into the Badlands. So it's got this kind of interesting, eclectic kind of supporting cast that, I really dug, and and they all bring their A game to this. It's really very well. It's really very well done, and it becomes this, trying to get out of Afghanistan, and it kind of culminates into this kind of third act. This third act chase, it's really edge of your seat type stuff. This movie works like gangbusters. I can't think of anything that's really wrong with this movie, to be honest. I guess my one nitpick would be maybe have them all in a scene in the garage at the end, maybe, just kind of see what happened after they got back to America, because it's probably more because I like the movie, and I would have let it have another 5 or 10 minutes, I felt like maybe there needed to be one more scene after where it ends, but no, it's fine. I'm fine with that. It's just like a personal nitpick. But I mean, other than that, I can't think of a single reason why not to see this movie. I can't think of anything that I would object to or change. How about you, Bill?
No, I totally agree. For what they had to work with, I think that they did a really good job at everything. You have other films that have extremely high budgets. You can, I don't. You could see where the budget was in this was primarily used on I think locations and military stuff.
Because I'm sure you have all heard a number of YouTubers, and I'm certainly one of them, who wants to go back to this sort of quote unquote mid-budget movie. These movies that keep it to 2 hours, that are one-offs and not franchises. There's
Yeah.
not going to be The Covenant Part 7.
Yeah. No. This is
Afghanistan.
one and done.
There's not going to be any The Covenant Part 7 Afghanistan Drift. This when at the end the story is wrapped up.
Yeah.
And we need more of these one-off, mid-budget, hour and a half to 2 hour movies again. This is the kind of movie that we are talking about when we say we want to go back to a form of entertainment that is not there anymore, that the mainline studios are not giving us. This is the kind of movie that we're talking about. It is entertaining, that is not preachy, that's informing you about a certain event or subject matter that maybe you don't know about. And, it's not trying to lecture you. There are no lectures in this movie. It's just this straightforward storytelling. It doesn't spoon feed anything to you. And it's really a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
So, folks, go out and see The Covenant. Find it wherever you can on streaming. I do know that there is a Blu-ray. I haven't heard anything about a 4K yet. I'm going to hold out for the 4K. But man, check this movie out, because it is one of the best movies of the year. And get the word out there, man.
Most certainly within the top 5 to top 10.
For sure.
I don't know if there's. I don't honestly know if there's going to be a top 10. The top 5 is right about where it's at for really good films of this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Guy Ritchie has made some really good films, and he's had some.
Yes.
He's had some bombs, but for the most part, he's made some really good films. Like we were saying, he did two Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and Snitch, and Slept Away. I didn't see Slip Away. Rollover, didn't see that one. Rock and Roll, I don't know if I saw that one. But he did Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2. Man from U.N.C.L.E. Now,
Wrath of Man with Jason Statham from last year.
That one was really good, yeah.
Really good movie.
Operation Fortune was also this year.
It's also this year. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
Another movie that kind of came and went from the theaters pretty quickly. But yeah, this one is definitely on the must-see list. And I am giving it my worth buying on 4K at full price rating. It's that good. So
yeah, I like I said, I give it a 5 out of. I give it 5 total out of 5 stars. I mean, it's just unfortunate this one really did fall under the radar. Um, and in today's world, it was a box office bomb, but it should have been a box office champion.
Mhm.
Had they maybe put this like 1 week 1 or 2 weeks before the Indiana Jones Indiana 5 debacle, I think
Yeah, yeah.
maybe this would have done really well. Who knows? But definitely a great film, and I highly recommend it. And you should have a look at it and see what you think.
Indeed. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Obviously, Bill and I both feel very strongly about this one. We both highly recommend it. I want to thank everybody who is in the chat, including Mikey Sus 4, as well as LDG and Matt G.
Matt G, yeah. No.
All right. As usual, of course, if you like what you see, please hit the like. Bill is also simulcasting this broadcast on his channel, so
Yeah.
throw some likes over there as well.
Please
And
leave your comments
mhm.
on both of our channels about this review. Maybe we'll do a spoiler review. We were trying to be non-spoiler as possible here
It's
right
possible,
now.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to give away too much. When I kind of almost went into the ending a little bit there. I was like, no.
Yeah.
let people see for themselves.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good thing. I wanted the movie to be a little bit longer. When I'm saying that, that's a good thing. So, but no, this is one we're very highly recommending, guys. So, check this out, and of course, stay tuned for check the notifications and whatnot. We might do a spoiler review for this. So go, if you have not yet seen the movie, please go and check it out.
Indeed.
All right. So, Bill, do you have anything coming up?
Not really. I am gonna go check out Mission Impossible 7 Part 1 Dead Reckoning, and I believe we may do a post film review, so we can get that scoop out there for let you guys know.
I already have my tickets bought and paid for.
Yeah.
So yeah, Monday
I believe
night.
we're both going to see it early access at 7 p.m.
Of
course, 7 p.m. is 7 p.m. You're going to actually see it before me.
Before you, yeah.
And then I'll be getting out as you're probably out of the film. So, yeah.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. All right. So, of course, stay tuned for that. After Bill and I wrap up here, stay tuned to the channel, because in just a few short minutes, I will be giving my thoughts on a movie that's hit the headlines over the last couple of days. Sound of Freedom. I had a chance to see this movie yesterday, and I got a lot to say about it. So, Bill, have you seen Sound of Freedom yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I am probably gonna see if I can have a look at that one.
Okay. My review will be spoiler free, so for anyone who has not seen it, I'm not going to give away. I'm not going to give away any important plot points or anything, but it's well, just stay tuned to the review, and I'll go into it. But all right, so Bill, thank you for joining me for this review.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so from HQ, take care, stay strong, see the Covenant, because this is how we win. Thank you.
Indeed.